Dumelang. Ke tshepa re tsotlhe di apere tshiamo ka montemong gore o tlhotse sentle, o letse sentle, o leboga modimo gore o na le lelapa, o na le batho mo botshelong jwa gago ba ba go ratang. O tshogofaditswe ka letsatsi le le ntšha. This is the day that the Lord has made, and we must rejoice and be glad in it. Dumelang bagadi. It's very important that we know that that the enemy is not omniscient, neither is he omnipotent. The reason why certain things happen in your life when they do, and it seems like you can't catch a break, is because heaven works with programming. You're activated by means of programs. The wisdom of the book of Ecclesiastes lets us know that for every programming under the sun, there is a season and a time. And it is very important as a child of God to know which season and which times are happening in your life. It goes as far as to say, I think it's Psalm 13, that your times are in God's hands. So it's important that you understand what programming is taking place in your life, for what activation or for which activation. For example, in a season where you're being prepared for much influence, you will most definitely face sexual temptation. In a season where God is going to express His power through you, your pride will be tested. So you can expect that there will be people who will be demonically influenced to seduce you, to compromise your consecration and your sanctification. You can expect that you will be challenged to act out of character, to not choose the way of humility, but to act in pride, comparison, to use situations to manipulate, to dominate, to control, to compete, to bring people down. If any mechanism that opposes the character of Jesus Christ being fortified in you will be challenged. So let's say, for example, you're a single woman or you're a single man, and you're praying to God and you're trusting Him to bring you somebody in your life. That's what you're praying for. Now, God understands that love will make a demand on your life. When somebody loves you, there's no way they're going to allow you to stay the same. If somebody truly, truly loves you, they're not going to allow you to stay in a situation where sin will abound in your life and not come up to be the man or woman that God has created you to be. That is the one person who will be rooting for you. Now, God will create situations, or a situation where you'll find yourself in a position, or you will suddenly be surrounded by people who are living in purpose. You will be tempted to feel as though you don't belong among them. There will be great discomfort because you will see people attaining their goals, achieving their dreams, and know very well that you are living below your purpose. You are living below your design, your internal existential knowing that you've been called for more. You are living below that. You have cowardly opted for a smug and non-caring or careless, unconcerned position to accept mediocrity. What the enemy will do, and God has placed you in that situation on purpose because it's supposed to agitate and aggravate your laziness, your victim mentality, your lack of inspiration, your low self-esteem, your mediocrity and your complacency. Those environments, when you see people living and they are full of purpose and they're full of joy and they're full of peace, The enemy will tempt you with jealousy. The enemy will tempt you with envy. The enemy will tempt you with contempt. So instead of being inspired to come up higher, what you will begin to do, if you yield to the temptation the enemy brings your way, you'll begin to compare yourself. You'll begin to focus on the flaws of those people, because nobody's perfect. But that's not the reason you're there. That's not the reason why these people are in your lives. They're there to inspire you. But if you allow the enemy in your subconscious, in your soul, to have a way with you, and you listen to the voices of demons, what you'll do is you'll begin to compare yourself. You'll begin to yield to jealousy. You'll begin to yield to envy. You'll be highlighting people's flaws and finding ways to bring them down. You'll be using terms like, they think they're better than me. That's not why you're there. You're there to learn. God is watching if you will be humble enough to learn, to be inspired. And oftentimes He will send people around you who in some way you think you are better than. It is to challenge your inner discombobulation, your inner dysfunctionality. It's for you to learn from these people so that you can come up to access the things that God has bestowed to you. There's no one who's more interested in character development than God. And if you don't understand how God works and how He thinks, you will miss seasons. You will fail and you will repeat. You will not grow. You will keep saying things like you are cursed. You don't know why everybody leaves your life. You don't know why this is happening. It's because you're not learning. You lack wisdom. So if you opt for a satanic response, or a sinful response, or a demonically induced response to the programming you're going through and the season you're in, it's going to yield negative results. So then you've proven that if you can't learn from others, if you cannot humble yourself, lower yourself to learn the things that are lacking in your character, and really have an internal conversation with yourself in order to introspect, to see why you're failing, why you keep repeating certain lessons, why you're not passing, why you're going around in loops and in circles. You have proven that even when you get a partner who's supposed to have your best interest at heart, who's supposed to love you, because love makes a demand. Love will always make a demand. True love, pure love will make a demand. It will expect for you to grow. You're not going to listen to your partner. So then God is thinking, if you're not even going to be inspired, you're not going to allow yourself to be inspired and be chastised and be provoked into change, into humility, into learning the things that could grow you from people outside of you. How are you going to learn those things from a partner? How will you learn from a partner whom God will use as a conduit, as a channel of His Spirit to challenge you, to confront you out of complacency, out of sin, out of mediocrity? It's important that we perceive programs, seasons, what God is trying to produce in us. Often what we ask for and the mechanisms that God uses to give us the things that we're saying we desire in alignment with God, they don't present themselves the way we think they do. That's why we often will find ourselves repeating tests and failing in a time and a season where you should be activated for more influence. Those are not the times where you pack a bag to have an overnight sleepover at your boyfriend's house or your girlfriend's house or your fiance's house. When the temptation for sexual activity outside of the bounds of biblical marriage, are concerned. That's where you're going out during the day, where people can see you. You're not Netflixing and chilling, because it will affect your testimony. It will affect your internal environment as far as your ability to share the word with conviction. Satan will compound the issue of the fact that you're a hypocrite every time you try to witness or every time you're supposed to share the word. You want to prevent those things from happening. And it's not that God won't forgive you. God forgives. But you prove that your flesh still has control of you. Your flesh still rules you. You don't have enough restraint yet in that area, and you'll go through that test again. It's important that we perceive when we're tested, we perceive the temptations that are in our lives in certain seasons. It has everything to do with the enemy trying to prevent what God has for you, trying to limit the activation of what you're supposed to step into, trying to mess around with the programming that God has for you in that season, to develop something inwardly for it to come out. And ultimately, that is Christ's character being fortified in you. So as much as the enemy is not omnipotent or omniscient, he understands programs. He understands programs. He's lived long enough on this earth to recognize patterns and programs. For David to become a warrior king, in David's programming, before he's activated into kingship, into leadership, he's tested first with the few men who followed him, if he could lead very well. He's tested to see if he's easily influenced when he is tempted to kill Saul in the cave, and he refuses to. He has a deranged, psychopathic, demon-possessed man chasing him through his season of preparation and programming. And in all of that time, God is looking at his character. Joseph as well. In order to be a deliverer of the people, will you still have a spirit of excellence in you? We see him have a spirit of excellence in his father's house. We see him have a spirit of excellence in Potiphar's house. We see him have a spirit of excellence in prison, all the way to the palace. The same with Moses. We see the same programming with Moses. From Pharaoh's palace all the way to the desert where he's a farmer. God allows him to tend sheep for 40 years because he knew he was going to have to be a leader of a whole entire nation. And so there are qualities that God is developing in Moses while he's in the desert. The same with your life. So in every season of your life, whether it's a season for you to learn humility so you can be a good leader. Good leaders are very humble because good leaders understand that leadership is about serving. In a season where your capacity is being challenged because you're weak. Your idea of strength is to dominate, is to have power over people. It is to manipulate and control. That's weakness. You will be challenged to be more honest. You will be challenged in the area of vulnerability. You will be challenged to consider others. Your ego will have to be deflated. You'll have to see that no man is an island. You need other people in order to become your best. That there is more power in collaboration than there is in the need to outshine people. You will be exposed to the realities and the truth of your smug disposition for complacency and mediocrity. And one of the tools that God uses in that area is that He tests your ability to love, to genuinely love. Loving is the highest form of existence. Your inability for love, your lack of maturity, your fear of vulnerability will be exposed. Not that you should feel shame, and that's the thing. Satan will tempt you with shame. And oftentimes, if you fall for that trap, the response is to project on other people, to project what you're incapable of doing onto other people so that you don't have to deal with the fact that you are impecunious and perhaps boracic internally. You lack a great deal of depth. You are fearful. You're not as powerful and as brave as you project to others out there. You're actually just a scared little girl or a scared little boy. God will place you in the company of those who are fearless, who celebrate their individuality, who are not ashamed of their flaws, but are equally very comfortable with their strengths. But if you're a kind of person who feels like strength is expressed in very cowardly actions of dominance and chaos and all other devilish and satanic expressions, you'll find yourself repeating tests